be showing you a quick and easy beginner-friendly brown or dark root or shadow root technique that is going to elevate your blonde looks. The colors I'm going to be using are from Revlon number 54, the golden brown or dark golden brown, and then the dark and lovely 10 golden blonde. The golden blonde is going to go on the ends of the hair after the root shadow. So next you want to go ahead and mix your color. We're going to start with the root shadow first. So take your dark golden brown color and follow the directions that are on the box. You always want to make sure you do that when you're working with color, because you just want to make sure that you're doing it correctly and mixing it correctly. So here I'm just mixing it together per the directions on the box. And like I said, this is very beginner friendly. It's very easy to do. I'm using box color right now because I was in a hurry this day and I didn't want to go through the motions of actually like hand mixing. Next, we're gonna go ahead and make sure that we comb that out to prepare for parting. And the hair is wet because it allows the hair to absorb the color at a slower pace, and also it helps the hair color smooth on the hair easier so that you won't use a bunch of product at one time. Now you want to just take the color mixture that you mix together and apply it to the base of the hair closer to the lace, and you want to take your comb or a brush or your finger to smooth that in. I like using a comb because the comb separates the hair and I can get more coverage using a comb than I can a brush. And then sometimes the brush gets a little messy and the comb allows you to have more control over where and how you're applying the color. And you want to make sure that you also only apply the color 1 inch, like 1 inch wide from the base of the hair down the hair strand. So you don't want to go over an inch. If you go over an inch, it's gonna look very messy and it won't look like a root shadow. A root shadow is only supposed to look like new growth. So like if your hair is grown out and then your natural color shows underneath your color, that's what I mean by that new growth kind of thing. You want to make sure that it should mimic new growth if it's done correctly. As you're going, you want to lightly press the color into the hair strand, and you also want to make sure that you don't go to the lace all the way just to prevent staining the lace. But for me, I really didn't care about staining the lace because I kind of know how to camouflage if the lace is stained. But usually with permanent hair color, it doesn't really stain the lace permanently. You can kind of wash it out a bit if you're using a really good box color. And as you can see, the color is already starting to turn like that brown color that you want with the dark root shadow. And also you want to make sure that you go ahead and blend the hairline as well using that same like 1 inch rule, just so that the hairline can process with the rest of the hair, because sometimes the hairline tends to process a little bit slower. So you want to make sure that as you work up to the crown of the head, you are blending that hairline in with the rest of the color. And here you can kind of see what I mean about that 1-inch rule. You see how as the color is turning, it's starting to mimic that new growth a little naturally. And then while you're using the comb, it eliminates that harsh line that you would see if you were to just apply the color with a brush. That comb really breaks up that line of demarcation so that it looks as natural as possible. That's the key to doing a really good root shadow. You want it to look as natural as possible, especially when you're working with blonde hair. And you want to just kind of do the same method to the other side that you did to the first side. Go ahead and go in and look at that brown color. It looks so pretty. So pretty. When it rinses out, it's going to look perfect. But you just want to make sure that you do the same thing to the other side that you did to one side to make sure it all looks even. And since the hair color was processing a little faster because my room was kind of hot at the time, so just remember that if it's hot or if your surroundings or your environment is warm, the process is going to, the color is going to process faster. So you want to make sure that you work pretty quickly, but just make sure you maintain neatness and quality. And because it was processing a little bit faster, I went ahead and did the hairline, and then I went inside of the lace to apply the rest of the color. And as you can see, this is what it looks like as the color is processing. You do want to allow this to sit for 30 minutes. And it's okay to go through your work and double check to make sure that you've covered all areas that you want to cover. And then you also want to make sure that you don't have any lines of demarcation and that everything looks nice and feathered and very, very, very natural. But this is not going to be as dark as it looks. Color always processes darker when it's going through the process. Once you rinse it out and you dry it, the color is going to lighten up. So don't be alarmed. Now what I'm doing, I'm just sectioning off the lace front from the rest of the hair because this is where I'm going to be applying that Dark and Lovely golden blonde to the rest of the hair, just to kind of tone out that yellowy tone and out of the 613. For me, 613 tends to be a little bit like banana-y color, if that makes any sense. And for my skin tone, that yellow tone, it doesn't mix well. So I like to go in with a golden color to give me more of a warmer tone, and then also balance out that flat yellow color. And with this one, I'm not going in any specific technique. I'm just grabbing a chunk of hair and applying the color. Like I said earlier, because the hair is wet, it is allowing the color to go through the hair easily versus me having to use a bunch of products. And because I don't want to necessarily take away a lot of the blonde color that's already in there, I'm just gonna take chunks of the hair and just spread it through, because all I want to do is just tone out that yellow. And you see here, the one side, it's toning out that yellow and making it more of a natural looking blonde instead of like a straight out of the pack blonde. And that's what I mean by that flat blonde color that's straight out of the pack. We want it to look like a natural blonde and not like wiggy. You want this look to be natural. The more natural the blonde look is on you, the better it will fit. Now you want to just keep smoothing it through the hair. I started at the back and then you just work your way up to the top. But because this isn't, I guess, a real human, you don't have to worry about the person's body heat, because that's usually why you start at the back. You start at the back because that's the warmest part of the person's head. But because I'm a licensed hairstylist, I can't help but to start at the back of the head. You don't necessarily have to, but you can. And this is what it looks like once it has been shampooed and dried. You see there's a really, really nice natural shadow root under there. It looks really, really good, really, really natural. You don't see any lines of demarcation. Everything looks very, very blended, very, very feathered. And I love this look so much. Now on the hairline, this is what it should look like as well here. No lines of demarcation, nice and neat, nice and feathered. And because my skin tone is like a mocha brown, that dark shadow root, that dark golden blonde will blend so well with my skin color. So I don't have to bleach the knots or anything. And with blonde hair, you don't want to bleach the knots because the hair is already bleached enough. And if you bleach it any further, you're gonna risk the hair breaking off because it's already been bleached. But here you see that nice dark shadow tone against that golden blonde from the Dark and Lovely. And that's exactly what you wanna look for when you're looking for the shadow root. You wanna make sure that that shadow root is like sitting right under. And this is what you want it to look like once it's done. You want it to look nice, natural, blended. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment. See you later.